You are aware that efforts have been made, but it has not yielded any positive results. As an academia, what have you been doing to see how you can also liaise with the powers that be to ensure the actualization of local government autonomy? I'm saying this because it has affected a lot of local government councils in Nigeria, because some governors accepted local government autonomy, I'm sure you are aware, but some other governors are hell-bent in ensuring that that will not see the light of the day. What do you think should be the best approach as far as this very important issue is concerned? Thank you so very much.
Any other question before his response?
Good morning, great speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I'm Sam Bok from Plateau State. Thank you very much for this wonderful paper presentation. I listened keenly to your paper presentation, and I absolutely agree with you on the issue of autonomy of the local governments. My question actually has to do with the issue of insecurity. I see insecurity in Nigeria coming from ideological issues, where the issue of autonomy, to my mind, might not have direct connection with the ideologies that have been driving the insecurity in Nigeria. Do you think if we would look at the issue of trying to define the insecurity issue, the bigger picture of insecurity, because at certain points there has been misunderstanding of where the insecurity was coming from. At a point it was tagged a religious thing. But recent happenings have shown to us that it's not religious, because Islam was being accused, but many Muslims are being killed in Katsina, in Zamfara, in other places. So it's not a religious issue. At a point, it was looked at a tribal issue. Again, in Plateau State, an Arbo was killed. So it's not a tribal issue. Can we reduce, the issue of insecurity to a real perspective, that there are evil people across the tribes, across the religions, and there are good people across the tribes and the religions? And how do we deal with that so that the coming together of the good people will be able to help the issue of insecurity at all levels? Because that could go a long way in helping us, because if we don't define the cause of insecurity, we might have enough money, but it will be exhausted. Many states are they are autonomous, they get their money directly, but right now insecurity has drained them, they are exhausted. So even at the local government level, if we have autonomy and the ideological cause of insecurity is not dealt with, we will still be at the same spot. So I think we need to think deeper on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The absence of any other questions? We'll take one for now. One more.
Look at the people at the back.
Let me start by commending the paper presenter for your resounding paper presentation. Mine is a very simple question. My name is Augustin Bako, the Deputy Chairman of the Council of Plateau State. I have had the privilege of attending a workshop. And in the course of the workshop, one of the presenters did make mention of Vice Chairman not having the capacity to preside over security issues. I want to use this time to ask whether it was a misleading kind of a thing or it's a correct statement. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this question. Before we entertain other questions, let him respond to this.
Let's be gender sensitive here. Our women should come.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much for your questions. I would like to start with the last two speakers. If I get the first one. I'd like to answer the second and the third speaker. Your answer dwells on insecurity. Of course, that's a major or it's a fundamental issue that the government is dealing with at the moment. Of course, you all agree with me that in the absence of justice, in the absence of fairness, there is bound to be what? Anarchy or confusion. A lot of people, agitations, a lot of people have been clamoring for recognition because they felt that they've been marginalized, they've been shortchanged. There is no equity distribution of resources. Of recent, this morning, I overheard the governor of Rivers State complaining that the state of Rivers was able to raise about 14 billion naira tax something, and federal government gave them 4 point something, while Kano State generated 2.8 billion, and they were giving 2.8 billion. So where is the justice there? Now, these are some of the issues our government and our leaders need to begin to address, and that is why I said in my paper, inclusiveness, there should be transparency, there should be accountability. Once these things are not there, then the next thing is anarchy. You're calling for anarchy. There must be openness. You must be able to carry the people along. You must involve them in your policies. Tell them what are your aspirations, what do you intend to do. Forget the fact that, and of course you agree with me that most of the problems we are having emanate from our political actors, either from the local government level, state level, and the federal. Those at the local government level normally fraternize with the state governors. And you shortchange your electorate, the council you are representing. So what do you expect? Anarchy, you expect confusion. And that is why I said the most developed society and the most peaceful society. What makes the nation developed? The most developed society and the most progressive, than the most secure society. What makes them developed? And what is making Nigeria underdeveloped? Injustice, lack of transparency, lack of accountability. You must render your stewardship to your people. From time to time, you call them and tell them, you render your financial accountability. But in most cases, we don't do that. So these are some of the issues. Forget about ethnicity, forget about religion. People only bring this to which sentiment. People bring religion, they bring this into which sentiment. These are not the issues. Because if you look at those at the top, you discover that they fraternize. Of recent, when the president's son get married in Kano, you saw them, they are both APC, PDP, fraternizing, laughing. Why do you allow yourself, those at the common, at the common level, why do you allow yourselves to be used and dumped? You know, Karl Marx called those of us at that level sacks of potatoes or ready-made tools that could be used to ferment trouble at any time. So we must begin to hold our leaders accountable. Inclusiveness, if there is nothing like that in governance, then there's a problem. You must involve people. Inclusiveness. Human beings want recognition. If you carry them along, they'll be comfortable with gratitude. But the moment you discard them, of course, they will begin to feel so agitated. Now to the first speaker on autonomy. I just told you, autonomy. Of course, the idea behind the establishment of the local government as a third tier of government is to do what? To stimulate development at the local level. So where did we get it wrong? That resources that used to come directly from the federal government now drops at the state government. The state government will hijack it. And what is the position? Not just the academians alone, or those of us from the academia, but what are the local governments doing about it? Of course, it is constitutional that we have the third tier of government. Now, what are the chairmen and vice chairmen doing about it? They don't do anything. They only go there in the night, they go and lobby, you beg for what is rightly yours. I think that is an aberration. It's misnomer. We must begin to hold ourselves. You speak the truth, except if you didn't come through the ballot box. Maybe they just brought you from a site, they just picked you somewhere. But if your people, the electorate, actually elected you, you should be able to speak for your people. You should be able to stand firmly and raise your head and take a position. I think that's just the issue. Any other question? Yes, please.
You have another?
Good morning, Honorable House. My name is Honorable Yao A.S. Abdullahi, representing the good people of the local government of Sokoto State. I'm standing here not to oppose what the professor have just said, but to back him. What the professor have just said about autonomy of local government, my fellow colleagues, just as he said, if you did not come through the back door, if you come through the door, you should say something. To tell you the fact, local government is a top tier of the government. And you should know that all the resources are being found from the local government. From the local government to the state government. From the state government to the federal government. Then the federal government should distribute it equally to the local government. So autonomy, it should be the most top priority of every person in this hall. Because once there is an autonomy in local government, I'm telling you, the problem of insecurity will be solved. Because by the time, if the poor masses, the people who elect you, the good people who gave you the mandate, who you are sitting right here in this hall, if you have something, a very tangible development for them, where you're supposed to build a good borehole, good school, good electricity, good road network, and good water, I'm telling you, there will be the problem of insecurity will be reduced in Nigeria. So, I want every person in this very hall to know that yes, the third tier of government is not a tier should be thrown away. It's a tier that it should be brought forward. For your information, I have been elected for a very long time as a councillor. I was elected 3 times. If I'm not good, people would have not been re-elected me as a vice chairman today. But very unfortunately, I know most of you in this very hall did not contested for vice chairman, contested for chairman, but you were opportune. So, you should know that, yes, you should represent the good people that gave you the mandate you are sitting here. By saying out your voice. So, my fellow colleagues, I'm calling on the top table members sitting right down there at the front of me. This should be the most high priority that you should discuss about the autonomy of the local government. If the autonomy of the local government is given to the local government, I believe there will be a very laudable development in Nigeria. And the problem of poverty will reduce because there will be a lot of employment and people will have what called self-reliance. My fellow colleagues, I do not want to emphasize much on this issue because it has been known and the professor have elaborated a lot. Let me come back in terms of security. My professor, sir, with humble regard, I want to address this house that people should know that yes, you should become very united. You should stop desecrating each other. Don't say you are a Hausa man, you will not relate with an Igbo man, or you will not relate with a Yoruba man. This is what is called disintegration in Nigeria. So by the time you mingle with people, rhyme with them, feel them, let them feel you, I think the problem of insecurity will reduce. But if you look at it, if you come to the south or southeast, where a Hausa man loading his property, being vandalized by a South person, is very insulting. My fellow colleagues from the south or from the southwest, please, you should take note of this thing. I'm a pure Hausa man. My mother from Delta State. I'm a stick of unity in this house. I'm not going to tolerate a Hausa man destabilizing somebody from the south and likewise from the south or from the southeast, I will not tolerate him destabilizing the property of somebody from the north. So you people, please, you should speak in your local government, various community, because you are a very humble honorables sitting in this hall. Honorables, let me reserve some comment because I think the house is full of a lot of things.
Let's put our eyes together for him for that one. Please let's go straight to the point and our questions.
Most distinguished honorable colleagues, good day. I acknowledge the leadership of this honorable body. My name is Honorable Cletus Swampo, the Vice Chairman of Arushuku Local Government Area of Abia State. I have straight questions. I must have to commend the leadership of this body for coming up with this association of Local Government Vice Chairmen of Nigeria. But I know for the records that we have the ALGON, Association of Local Government of Nigeria. What's actually the difference? Does it mean that Association of Local Government of Nigeria is just a body that takes only the chairman, or is it a body that should take the entirety of the local government? Not putting this one aside, first question. Then another question is in line with the lecture by the erudite professor on security and other matters. Why is it that we cannot have a unified system of local government in Nigeria? We have 774 and in addition the 4 area councils of Abuja. But you see that there is no unism, there is no uniformity in modus operandi, the operational activities of local government, ranging from finance, autonomy, and every other thing. So what actually is the body? Or are we just coming here to probably truncate or probably rejoice that we have Association of Local Government Vice Chairmen of Nigeria? ALGON is almost pushing away the vice chairman in various places, because I want to think and believe that ALGON is Association of Local Government of Nigeria. It's not local Association of Local Government Chairmen of Nigeria. And these issues must be properly addressed. And then, like I said, in the Constitution, why is it that there is the possibility of having an amendment that will enshrine the local government properly into, because if you look at the 6th schedule and other areas that you have the local government, you see that the local government is just a kind of an appendage standing with, it's a one-leg vehicle or thereabout, constitutionally. And that is why a lot of things keep happening. So what's the Association of Local Government Vice Chairmen of Nigeria doing in terms of effective a constitutional change that will guarantee the existence of the 3rd tier of government, whereby monies will come down and the people in the communities will feel the impact of government, so that youth restiveness will be a bit reduced. This banditry, this kidnapping, all this whatever, all these are results of unemployment, and because the majority of Nigerian youths are almost out of the game in this country. What actually is this association doing in these regards? Thank you.
Thank you. Before we move further, other questions? Let him respond.
Okay, the last speaker.
Honorable colleagues, please, we had our NEC meeting last night, and we outlined very well the program of today. We have a lot of visitors here. We have a representative of a distinguished senator who is sitting here with us. we have gentlemen of the press, we have security agents.